It's the start of another month and more fresh all-time highs for Ethereum. So at the time of recording, we've seen a definite break through $3,000 today, traded as high, almost touched 3,200. So does this mean the next leg higher for Ethereum is starting? Or is it going to end up like back here, being something of a false break, and actually we need to be a bit more patient? I thought it was time for an update in Ethereum, given the moves that we continue to see. If we go back to the end of last year, it closed around $734 on December the 31st. But we've seen that trend continue this year, almost a textbook trend this year, higher highs, higher lows, broken out again today. So I thought it'd be interesting to take a look at it, come up with perhaps some more objectives on the upside. If we see it sell off, where should we be looking to buy in, and see if there's a trade to do now. If we go to the positions, we've got the usual mix of trades running on the various markets we cover on the channel. I think the last crypto trade we did was on Bitcoin. The last video we did in April, towards the end of April on Bitcoin, we bought then at 53,770. That's slightly up with Bitcoin, 58,000 and a bit at the moment, but nothing on Ethereum. So let me talk a bit more about what's been driving it, what to look out for. Then we'll come back and look at this and see if we can get a trade on. Hello, I'm David Jones from Capital.com, and I thought given the performance, it was time for us to do an update on Ethereum. So as usual in this video, I'll talk a bit about what's been driving it lately. We'll jump on the platform, take a look at things in more detail, see if there's a trade to do, look at the entry points, and see if we can get a trade on. As usual, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, if you could click on subscribe, it does help support the channel. And of course, every Friday now we do these live streams at 2:30 UK time. If you're subscribed with the alarm bell clicked, you get a notification 30 minutes before we're about to go live. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's catch up with what's been moving Ethereum and take a look at things in a bit more detail. So Ethereum is the second largest crypto by market cap, behind Bitcoin, obviously. It was launched in 2015, and it's an open source blockchain-based platform used for its own cryptocurrency. There's been a great performance this year. It has outperformed Bitcoin this year, recording this as it moves out to fresh all-time highs again. But so far, Ethereum this year is up by more than 300% from where it ended 2020. So as I say, we're seeing fresh all-time highs through $3,000 today. But what's driving it? Why are we seeing this price continuing to gather momentum? I think there are a few factors here. There have been improvements made to the Ethereum blockchain recently, and arguably that could make it more attractive, help it to go more mainstream. We know there's a growing shift towards decentralized finance, DeFi, and a lot of this, it's expected, will be built on the Ethereum blockchain, which of course is great. It's great for Ethereum holders, and I think one of the reasons we're seeing this market move higher. There's further signs of crypto going mainstream. Last week, the European Investment Bank said it planned to launch a digitized bond on the Ethereum blockchain. So again, that was seen as a great vote of confidence, I think, in Ethereum, and it's something, again, that's helped lift the price. And I don't think we should discount a familiar one when we talk about markets that are running away, the FOMO factor, the fear of missing out. And I think perhaps there is an element of that for those who thought, well, these markets can't go any higher, and then we see them breaking out to fresh all-time highs. I think that momentum can only help suck in more buyers. But how much is there left to come? Let's look at the levels to watch, then we'll go on the platform and look at things in more detail. So I think when it comes to picking out potential resistance levels, potential hurdles on the upside for a market that's running away like this, it's all a bit finger in the air. 3,500, the next psychological barrier. After that, 4,000. It's a bit easier when it comes to picking out support on the downside, because we've seen definite levels where the market sold off and sentiment has turned around. And for me, the first of these is around 2,800, a low set on the 1st of May. So only a couple of days ago, where the market sold off and we saw it move out higher to these fresh all-time highs. After that, I'd be looking at 2,600, the old all-time high that held for a bit on the 22nd of April. But as usual, to put some color on these numbers, let's take a look at the chart and see where the opportunity might be. Let's focus a bit more on what's been going on this year. You know, if you watch this channel, I'm a big fan of following trends. Let's pick up on the trend for Ethereum this year. It's pretty obvious. So we've got, like I say, almost a textbook trend chugging along here. If we start it from the lows right at the beginning of the year, a couple of touches, third touch there in March, came back close to it, middle of April, and has pushed higher since then. So at the moment, that trend line is coming in almost bang on $2,000. So even if we saw Ethereum drop $1,000 from where we are now, we're still in that trend for the year. So I think, as usual, the question is, if we're looking to trade it, do we wait to see if there's a pullback, or do we just jump on it now? But more of that as we go through this section. So looking at things like the RSI, I don't think it adds that much. I think one of the problems in strong trending markets with RSIs, they will go overboard a bit too quickly. And we've seen this with Ethereum. You know, when it does start moving, the RSI will give us a signal to go the other way. But there's usually a bit more momentum left in the Ethereum price. You know, at the moment, the RSI went overboard. Well, when was it? Pretty much towards the end of April the 28th, around about there, when Ethereum was trading around 2.7 and the price has moved $400 higher since then. So if we're waiting for the RSI to give us a buy signal, we've got to go back to, it didn't even go oversold, but the lowest it's been this year was back in February. So we haven't had it anywhere near oversold for more than a month now, when it was down at $1,600. So I don't think it adds too much at the moment, the RSI. I've also got classic trend following moving average on there, 20-day moving average, you know, and the price of Ethereum does dip, or has dipped below the 20-day moving average a few times this year. That has proved to be a buying opportunity. So one strategy at the moment could be, if you didn't want to wait for it to come back to that trend line at 2,000, in case it doesn't, wait to see if we get a test of the moving average, which is currently running around 2,500. That's one approach. And the next thing for me to figure out, if I was going to trade this, is where's my stop going to go? For me, the really obvious place for a stop, to give the market a lot of room, but this is a volatile market. You know, we had what I think are important lows from the beginning of April, ahead of 1,900. Then mid-April comes down to 1950. So really, if I want to try and ride this trend, I need to have my stop loss the other side of 1900, you know, which is a long way away from where the price is now. If we want a more aggressive stop, let's take a look on the hourlies. So I've still got my moving average showing now, but because this is an hourly chart, clearly it's a 20-hour moving average. But I think an interesting level, these old all-time highs, 22nd of April, they didn't stay in place for long. They only stayed in place for about a week. But up at 2,650, that sort of area. So again, if I wanted to have a tighter stop, that's one option, around about 2,600. We have various lows left on the way up. I think if I was doing an intraday trade on this, probably the tightest I'd want it is the other side of 2.8, and that's only from the 1st of May. So we have longer term options for stop losses. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to look to be a buyer. I might look to be a buyer on a pullback though, actually, and I'm going to put my stop loss, I think, down at 2.4. So that's the trade I'm going to set up. I want to be a buyer. We've got a clear trend running now again on the shorter term chart, you know, looking something like that. So if the price perhaps flips back below 3,000, it could be an opportunity to buy in, and maybe we see some of that FOMO effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave an order to be a buyer at 2,900. So basically, if you just get knocked back to where it was yesterday during weekend trading, and put a stop loss in at 2.4, that's going to be the trade. So let me set that up. So I'm ready to go. I'm going to buy 0.7. The market at the moment is trading 3,180. But I'm going to buy if it falls to 2,900. You can see that highlighted on the chart. So I'm going to take the view the current move has overshot a bit, and we'll get perhaps a bump back to reality either later today or as the week goes on. If that order gets filled, put a stop in at 2.4. Lots of support levels. If we did see the market start to sell off, if we start pulling back to 2.4, which for me is quite a tight stop on this chart, but it's still 20% away from where the market's trading now. So I think 2.4 is quite a good place to try and buy into this breakout, buy a bit of a dip. Let's see what happens. Let's place the limit order. That's it. My limit order's placed. So buying 0.7 of Ethereum at 2,900. You can see it there highlighted on the daily chart. So even though it's my buy order is a couple of $100 away, it's only where it was yesterday. So I don't think that's too over ambitious. And we'll see what happens. But for now, any weakness does look to be a buying opportunity. That trend for this year is most definitely up. Lots of really big support, the other side at $2,000. So the trend in Ethereum doesn't look to be changing anytime soon. That's it for this update in Ethereum. We'll see if it continues to power on to fresh all-time highs. We'll come back at it and have a look again in a few weeks' time. But for now, from me, David Jones and Capital.com, we'll leave things there. Good luck with your trading. For more trading videos just like this, please subscribe to our channel.